Hey guys, we are going to do some more text features today, but before I show you some new ones, I wanted to see if you could tell me what these ones are called. Here we go. Okay, what text feature is this? So you see it's a picture, one that just somebody drew, so an illustration, and I see the top part is got a label on it, flower. So the stem says stem, we got leaf and roots. So it's a picture. Oh wait, but it's a label. Oh, it's a picture and a label. Do we have something that's called a picture and a label? Diagram. A diagram is where you have a labeled picture. Remember where you put those two text pieces together. We had trouble finding diagrams. No, we didn't. In our social studies books, we found them, but it was mostly just maps. It was a picture of a map with the labels of like the cities or states. Okay, here's another brain buster for you. Here's another text feature for you. Look. He's a puppy giving me kisses. Oh, is that a text feature? No, that's just cute. That's not a text feature. The text feature is on the screen and it already says it's a heading, but there's not just headings. So if you look at this bottom one, it says the heading is called toothed whales. So, all right, this is all going to be about toothed whales. But then I see this one is, do all whales have teeth? And then there's other things. So what is it when there's a heading at the top? That's all going to be about. And then there's even more like smaller headings below that that separates the information even further. Remember what that one's called? Subheading, or on here it says actually says subheader. So that's another one we had trouble finding yesterday. Subheading, subheader is just when you have this is all about this thing, but now I'm going to break it down. So this to make it even more specific. All right, new text features today. Let's get going. So our first one is called a table of contents, which you do have in your social studies book. Okay, so a table of contents, the whole purpose of having one in a book is it tells you what page something is on. Okay, so if you're like, let's say you're doing your social studies, you're like, when did Mrs. Youngkie talk about the three branches of government? I don't remember what page that's on. And because you want to go read about it. Well, then you would look at the table of contents and it is going to tell you like when we talk about the three branches of government, it'll tell you what page it's on in there or what chapter is about. Like if this chapter in math, if this chapter is about division or addition or whatever, it is going to be at the front. Whoa, that was way up front of the book. So a table of contents, front of the book. So I'm going to grab my Go Math book, all right? I'm going to the front of the book here. And it actually doesn't say table of contents, but it is one. So if I look at it, it's going to tell me what pages things are on. So I can see that if I'm going for addition and subtraction, if I want to remember how to estimate, it's going to be on page 17. Now, then it doesn't say another page until 23. Instead of holding this up to the camera, I'm going to switch it so that you can see it in my other screen. So give me a second to show you that. There we go, much better. All right, so if I want to know, I don't remember when we estimated, here we go, estimating sums, page 17. But notice the next one doesn't start till page 23. That means that page 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and 22, all 6 of those pages are about estimating sums. And then we'll start a new one on page 23. So it won't just be the page that it shows. Sometimes there's other pages too. It's whatever's there until the new page starts, okay? So that is a table of contents, and I have an example to put in our list. Okay, so I am going to make that smaller, but for now you can see the table of contents. This is like the table of contents for what? Let's look at the topics. They have appetizers and beverages, soups and salads, vegetables and side dishes, main dishes, breads and rolls, desserts, cookies and candies, this and that, and an index. So what do you think this is the table of contents for? Like a cookbook. So it's telling you if you want to learn how to do desserts, you need to look at page 83. But notice it's not just page 83. It's 83, 84, 85, 86, all the way up to page 104. Because once you get 105, it's cookies and candy. All right, table of contents. By the way, you guys are going to be finding these as your seesaw assignment, so make sure that you're paying attention. Next up, we're going to learn about a glossary. The purpose of a glossary is it is going to tells you what a word means, or I'm going to put in parentheses here the definition of a word. So it is going to be, usually a glossary is going to usually be at the back of the book, and it's going to be an ABC order. Okay, I'll put the word order after that, ABC order. All right, so let's look at example of a glossary. Okay, so here's an example of a glossary. If you look at it, it's kind of hard to see. It is an ABC order. It starts with the letter B. It looks like it says barrow, maybe. Then C, canopy. D, it goes in ABC order. And if you look beside it, it'll tell you what that word means. If you want to know what a canopy means, the top layer in a rainforest, I think it says. It's really little on my screen. It's probably just as little on yours. But that's a glossary. It's going to tell you, so if you're reading a book and you're like, what does that word mean? And it doesn't tell you right there, you can look in the glossary, kind of like a mini dictionary in your book. It tells you what those specific words mean. All right, next up is the word index. An index and glossary and table of contents are all get confused sometimes because they're kind of like lists of words. But table of contents tells you what page it's on, and so does index. But this one's a little different. So it tells you, no, I'm going to say gives you a list of vocabulary words or key points. Okay, key points, and tells you what page they're on. So this one, if you're like, I don't know what veto means, you would look at the glossary. If you want to know what it said about veto in your book, then you would look in the index. It is also going to be at the back of the book. It is almost always at the back of the book, but sometimes not. And it's going to be in ABC order as well. So an example of an index would be this little guy over here. So as you can see, I'm at the beginning of this index, so it has the letter A, and it says Abu Simbel, the Temple of Abu Simbel, Acadia, Canada, acid rain. So it's in ABC order, but then it tells me what page it's on. So if I'm really wanting to know about acid rain, look, it says 396, 396, 397. So it's telling me that this is on more than one page. It talks about acid rain in this book on pages 396 and 397. Okay, so if I want to know about animal homes, I'd go on page 5. So sometimes it might just have one page because it only mentioned that one time in this book. Sometimes it might have multiple page numbers because it is mentioned multiple times in the book. But that is what an index is. And last but certainly not least is bullet points. That's not the last text feature, just the last one for today. So these would be used to separate a list. So if you are making a list, you can use bullet points to separate the different thoughts. And bullet points can be dots, they can be arrows or numbers. And I'm going to put dot, dot, dot at the end because there's more than just that. There's a lot of different types of bullet points. So let me show you an example. So if you are going to make a list like on a Word document, like type one, these are some of the options it gives you. You can do the little dots, you can do big circles, you can do diamonds and squares, arrows, and different fancy kind of arrows, X's and check marks. There's a bunch of different kinds, but those are just the specific bullets. You can actually switch to numbers if you'd like. And there's different instances, different reasons why you might use numbers or the dots. So in this example, you can see there's 3 different types of lists. It gives you a bulleted list, an ordered list, and then an ordered list with hierarchy, which means, well, we'll talk about in a second. So if I have a bulleted list, these are just like my to-do list, things I need to do. It doesn't really matter what order I do them in, I just need to do them. So I need to pick up my laundry, take out the trash, bring in the dog, put out the cat. So a lot of times if people don't need to do something in a specific order, they'll just put any type of like arrow, or this is like a little diamond looking thing, star. Now an ordered list, if it's numbered, usually means it needs to go in that specific order, and you shouldn't really change it. So first, in my meeting, we're going to do introductions, then we're going to talk about the new agenda items, then we're going to talk about old stuff, and then last we'll talk about what we're going to do at the next meeting. So that's the specific order. We'll do this first, second, third, and fourth. That last one is just talking about, it's almost like a heading and subheadings. So the heading would be appetizers. That's what the section is going to be about. But within that, appetizers can be a salad and a soup. Next heading would be a main course, and within that is going to be pasta and chicken. So there are different types of bullet points that you would use to separate the items in a list. Okay, now it is your turn. So for your assignment to prove that you understand these 4 things is you're going to find an example of the listed text features in your social studies book, or you can use your math book if you don't have that. If you don't have any of that, then you're gonna have to look online or in a magazine or some other book you have, because I need to see that you understand these. You're going to take a picture and put it in each box. So when you find a table of contents, you're going to hold it up to the screen, take a picture with the camera on Seesaw, and then put it right there into that box as a table of contents. So do that for all 4. Like I said, if you cannot find it, if you can't find one of your books to do it in, first of all, we have a problem because you need to have a social studies and a math book, but you'll have to either find them online or find them in some other book that you have, or worst comes to worst, draw a picture of it and hold it up, but I don't really want that. That's like last resort. Okay, and this is your reading assignment for today, and then you do the silent reading on the post-it. Okay, get busy.